What is going on, guys? It is your boy the Adam Foley, and today I'm coming to you with my Wrestlemania experience. So we started off on the Thursday, the 4th of April. I left pretty early in the morning, headed down towards King's Cross and Pancras, got the Piccadilly line from there all the way through to Heathrow, to like 50 odd minutes, it was ages. But I got to Heathrow at 7 o'clock, checked in the night before, went there, dropped my bag off, went through security and chilled out for a bit. And I met two great guys. I met Lewis and Ryan, guys from WrestleGate Pro. Don't forget about WrestleGate Pro, guys. I'll leave a description down below. And then we met Connor. Connor came towards us. We was talking to Connor. And then it was time to board the flight. The flight was okay. Quite a bit of turbulence on the flight itself. Got a bit shaky at one point. The captain came across and said, "Can the cabin crew get to their seats immediately?" And that was quite worrying. Yep, landed in Newark. Took ages to get through fucking customs, honestly. Took so long to get through customs at Newark, it was a joke, absolute joke. Even though I've been before, it still took a while to get through. Eventually got through, went down, all our bags were already taken off the conveyor belt that was on the side. Eventually, the guys that went with Wrestling Travel, like I did, we just went to a ground transportation area, waited ages for transportation. I think we eventually left the airport. It was close to 5 o'clock. We landed at like 1:30, 20 to 2. That was a joke. Got to the hotel, the New Yorker, about 6. Checked in. First day was just completely knackering. Didn't really get to do much at all. Checked in, as I said. Got unpacked. Went for a little walkabout just to see what was around. And that was the first day and dusted. Done and dusted then. And so we headed up to day 2. Day 2 was the Friday. I headed to the Hulu Theatre at Madison Square Garden with my mate Alex Bot for the Ring of Honor Festival taking place. We met up with the Wolfman and Jose. Sat in with a few Q&As and an afternoon with Dalton Castle. That was pretty funny. And then we had to wait until 4 o'clock before we could meet Okada and Ibushi. All 4 of us decided to meet Okada at one point, like in one go, just because the line was so huge, and me and Wolfman had to meet Ibushi. So Okada was all 4 of us. Yeah, the picture was in there. I think it's the day 1.5 of my videos, which have been uploaded. Okada was great. Ibushi's so humble, honestly. One of the nicest guys I've ever met. Ibushi is the man. After we met Ibushi, the boys headed to Hooters. We went to Hooters, had some of their wings, had a few beers. Fantastic wings, honestly. People say about Hooters wings, and now I can see why, because those things are amazing. They are absolutely amazing. After Hooters, we went and got the subway, got the 3 train to Barclays, because it was time for NXT TakeOver. So said goodbye to the lads. They was going off one way. I had to go another way. I had to go through the VIP entrance. It's in a suite, which was kind of cool. B5 crew, as we are now known. First night of TakeOver. What a fantastic show. What can I say? I mean, if you've seen TakeOver, you would understand what I mean. First match was outstanding. The women's match to me was a bit underwhelming, as was Riddle and Velveteen. But yeah, I mean, great night, capped off with Johnny winning the title, and then obviously Ciampa coming out of the back and sharing in the celebrations. Johnny came back into the ring and celebrating with the title. That was fantastic. And then it was time for the B5 crew to head back on the subway, headed to Manhattan, and went back to the hotel. So that was that. And then day 3, even that was a Saturday. What happened Saturday morning? Oh, that's it. Headed out to WrestleCon. Met up with Lewis and Ryan in the lobby. We was heading out to WrestleCon down in Midtown at the Hilton. That was fantastic. I met, as you've probably seen, I met Mick Foley, and I met Renee Young and Corey Graves. I'm sure the Wolfman and Jose there, they was there. Wolfman was in line to meet Ric Flair, as was Ryan Lewis. I was going to meet Rick, but it was a massive queue. And once Wolfman had met Ric Flair, and Jose had met Trish Stratus, it was time to head off to Foley's bar. Foley's, my own bar, unbelievable. Yeah, had some food there, had a few beers, and then it was time to head into MSG for the G1 Supercard, and that was a fantastic event. Great event. So Suzuki got a massive pop. Having the crowd singing Kaze ni Nare was amazing. Caught that on tape. That was brilliant. Muta coming out in the Battle Royal as well, and the Honor Rumble. So that card was stacked. At one point, I think it was after the Enzo and Cass incident. I saw online about the whole Bret Hart thing. I was like, hang on, what? 2 in one night? But obviously, I think the Enzo and Cass one is a work. But G1 Supercard was a fantastic show. Start to finish was unbelievable. The talent in that ring was outstanding. From NXT, was brilliant. G1 Supercard, fantastic. And then at the end of that night, for me, I was quite lucky because all I had to do was come out of MSG, and my hotel was right across the street, so that was fine for me. I didn't have to get on the subway. I didn't have to travel far. Came out of MSG, went to Taco Bell, had something to eat, went into my hotel room and slept. And then we come to WrestleMania Sunday, the day I've been waiting for. My first ever WrestleMania live. Wow. So the B5 crew, all standing in New Yorker, we decided to meet up quite early. A few of us went for breakfast. I think it was in McDonald's. Had some breakfast. Came back into the lobby around 10, half 10, I think it was. And then, we went to Penn Station. Got a New Jersey Transit train from Penn Station to Syracuse, or Secaucus, whatever they want to call it. And then when we got there, we was on a bus. We got a bus from the station to MetLife Stadium. Had a good time on the bus, singing songs, getting people to join in. And we got to MetLife a good 4 hours, I think, before the show even, like the gates even opened. So we walked around. We met the UK Undertaker. People got a few merch bits there. Then we was walking around, and we met these guys that were dressed as like John Cena, and they had like some beers and that. And we was like, oh, "Where'd you get them from?" Like, "Oh, we've just been tailgating." So we walked around with them. We found a group and charged us $10. $10. All you can drink, all you can eat. Unbelievable. I had a good time with them, and then it was time to queue up for Mania. So we get through. Eventually, got into the stadium. First impressions of the set was, it's not as good as some have been before. It was pretty plain, and took our seats. We started with the pre-show matches and all that. That was brilliant. After, I think it was after the Kofi, when the crowd kind of died a bit. I don't know if you'd be able to tell that on TV, but the crowd kind of died, and picked up eventually, obviously, for the main event, which is a bit of, to me, was a bit underwhelming. I wasn't a big fan of the finish. But then it was the end of Mania. Pyro's gone. And then it was the fun of trying to get back to the hotel. Bearing in mind we was in East Rutherford, and we had to get all the way back down to like Manhattan. So we went over towards the train line, and there was a guy working there. Ryan asked him what would have been the quickest way to get back to Manhattan. He said a bus. So we had to go all the way back across the fucking car park, all the way to the other side of the arena, of the stadium, only to see basically 2 lines worth of people. It must have been 1,000 people deep. right? We said, sod that, we're going to get the train. So we had to walk all the way back from that side of the stadium all the way over to the train side of the stadium, and then we queued up, and we heard that they was going to put on 5 trains. First train comes. As soon as that first train came, the heavens opened. Me being stupid, I didn't have a coat, so I got drenched. I was in a fucking pair of 3/4 length shorts and a t-shirt. Lewis was there. He was alright. He had a hoodie, but he was still in shorts. But he had flip-flops on. Honestly, Lewis, what were you thinking, man? We was all sunburnt because we'd been in the sun. Like when we was tailgating, none of us realised how bad it was until Karina actually pointed out that my neck was red. And then when I got back to the hotel, eventually at 4 o'clock in the morning, show finished at 12:30. We didn't get back to the hotel till gone 4 in the morning. We was waiting at Secaucus station about half an hour for a train. At one point, one of the carriages in front of us was going in the other direction, and James was like, "Where the fuck is that going?" That had us in stitches. And then, say we got back to the hotel, but it was a joke. Getting back from MetLife was an absolute joke. Ever do that again, I will kill myself, because like we didn't get on the train until 2:45, I think, to get from MetLife to Secaucus. So that was a pain in the ass. So we got back to the hotel about 4, didn't get to sleep until about 5, and I went to Access. I was supposed to go Access on the Monday. No chance. I wasn't going to get up that early. Fucking hell, I was absolutely shattered from that night before. So got up, went and got breakfast, and we planned for the B5 crew, because we was back in suites for Raw and SmackDown. We was going to meet at around 4:30, but I went and headed out to Brooklyn a bit earlier. Went into Modell's, got my mate a baseball, got back to the hotel, bought some After Sun, and put on the After Sun. God, my neck was killing. But we met up in the lobby and headed towards Barclays. Went into McMahon's bar for a beer, which is just across the road from Barclays Centre. And yeah, it was time to head in to Barclays, got into our suites, watched Raw. Obviously, it was fantastic because The Undertaker came out. That was amazing. Got back to the hotel that night, and that was that. That was Tuesday. That was Monday done. It was time for the last day, the last show. It was SmackDown. So we went to Taco Bell for breakfast. Some of the guys realised that was a mistake. Yeah, didn't really do much. Oh no, tell a lie. Tuesday we went out. Yeah, we went out, got some breakfast, met back in the lobby about 10:30ish, and then we was gonna head down to go and see Ground Zero, because some of the guys hadn't seen Ground Zero yet. So we headed down there, had a look around Ground Zero. Then we decided we were gonna get a ferry, go and have a look at like Staten Island. And then we ended up, this guy like from the sightseeing company charged us like $35 each. And we got a bus from just by the ferry port, which was the free ferry, down the road to get the sightseeing ferry. And we went on that. It was freezing. Again, I was wearing shorts. Twat. Yeah, went and saw the Statue of Liberty. Came back, got off at Times Square. Walked up like 4 blocks to the left and then 4 blocks to the right towards Times Square. Some of the guys hadn't been there. Went into that Disney store, got a bit for my daughter. Some of the other guys got some bits for their kids. Went into Modell's. There's some nice stuff in there, but none of us really got anything. It was because we knew there was one by Macy's. We were going to head there anyway on Wednesday. But yeah, got back to the hotel, quick shower, quick change, and then head out for SmackDown. One of the guys, I'm not sure what he had wrong with him, but he was complaining about his heart rate was really high, Connor. And then he just kind of broke down. He was crying, kind of hyperventilating, being sick. I went to get the EMTs up in Barclays. They took him to the medical room. 20 minutes, half an hour later, he came back. He was fine. But Connor was alright, so we kept an eye on him for the rest of the evening. Yeah, in the SmackDown, we met up just outside the subway, just by Barclays, and then went back to the hotel. We knew it was the last night, so I went back. As soon as I got back into the hotel, I just started to pack my bits up. And then Wednesday came, went for breakfast again. I think it was at McDonald's this time, again. And then, yeah, so checked out, dropped my bag into a little room, and then we decided that we was going to go for a little walk. So went up to Macy's, went and looked in Macy's. Some of the guys got a few bits and pieces just from like the luggage stores and that, like a few knickknacks and stuff. And then it was time to get the train from Penn Station. Oh, I apologise. So got to Penn Station, got the NJ Transit again, this time to Newark Airport. Got the air train from there to the terminal. Straight away just checked in straight away. Didn't have to be carrying the luggage about too much. Yeah, checked in, went through security, and then we had like I had 4 hours. Me and Rob had about 4 hours to kill until our flight, whereas the others weren't flying until 9. We flew at 7, they flew at 9. But went through, went into duty free, got myself another bottle of this, another bottle of Bushmills. Love my Irish whiskey. So a little bit left of that one. And I've got this one as well. So, got a bit of whiskey left. Great thing about Newark Airport, when you get your duty free, they'll give you a little receipt with a card on it, and basically they will take it to your gate for when you're boarding your flight. So pay for it, you ain't got to carry it about. So go straight to the gate or whatever when you're done, collect it, and it's sorted. But there was a little bar. Obviously, being a United fan, me and Ryan and Lewis wanted to watch the match, so we watched the Barcelona Champions League game in a bar, had a burger, had a few beers, chilled out. And once that had finished, it was time to just basically say our goodbyes to the B5 crew. So, me and Rob was getting the 7 o'clock flight, and then you had like Sarah and Dom, Connor, Ryan, Lewis, James. They was on the 9 o'clock flight from Newark back to Heathrow. So it was time to say our goodbyes to the B5 crew. Trying to organise a little do where we're going to get together for WrestleGate on the 18th of May. Yeah, got on the flight, kind of tried to sleep, watched John Wick 2, had something to eat. We landed at Heathrow, 7:05 we landed at Heathrow on the Thursday, a couple of days ago. And yeah, the great thing about being back in London, being in the UK, was just go straight through. Didn't have to worry about going through customs. You got the machine, you put your passport in, and you look up at the camera, and the camera scans your face with a picture from the passport. Gate opens, done straight away. Fantastic. So I got my bag, went out of the smoke, a couple of smokes. Said goodbye to Rob. We're about to go and get a coach back to Bristol, and then it was time for me to get on the Piccadilly line, get back towards King's Cross and Pancras, and I got home about 10 o'clock on the Thursday. And that was basically it. But deciding on what Mania next. Some of the guys want to go to Tampa, but I'm trying to hold out to go out to 37, WrestleMania 37. But things might change, you never know. See what happens. But that was it. That was my Mania. That was my Mania trip in a nutshell there, guys. Don't forget to have a look on those videos. Tell me what you think. Leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because I'm going to be bringing you a lot more content this year. So fingers crossed, everything's sorted. See, I'm heading up to Nottingham at the Rushcliffe Arena for WrestleGate Pro on May the 18th. If you ain't aware of WrestleGate Pro, it's run by a gentleman called Gary Ward. He's had some brilliant names so far on the shows. He had Mil Muertes on the very first show from Lucha Underground. The second show they had Ilya Dragunov. And this show so far they've announced Pac, former WWE Cruiserweight Champion, also known as Neville. He's going to be heading up to Nottingham May the 18th at the Rushcliffe Arena. I will leave the website in the description below. Grab yourself a ticket. It's going to be fantastic. So hopefully see you guys up there. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you on the flip side.